Henry Toivonen takes the winner's flag at the end of one of the longest and toughest and iciest Lombard RAC rallies ever, and he won despite a minute's penalty for lateness and despite this. It could have been a terminal role for Henry. Fortunately, it wasn't, because he won this event back in 1980. He, in fact, is the youngest ever winner, but he hasn't won a World Championship event since. So what a magnificent way to end 5 years of drought. And I'm sure, too, there'll be a river of champagne cascading through the Lancia camp this evening for a truly historic victory. To launch a brand new car on one of the toughest events in the world rallying calendar, to dominate that event right from the start line and to score a brilliant 1-2 victory is an almost incredible achievement. And what about the mighty Metro? Also a new car, in contention from first to last, and only 2.5 minutes off the leaders at the finish. It'll be an immense fillip, I'm sure, for British rallying, and of course it'll put Tony Pond for the very first time on the A drivers register amongst the very best in the world. So a tremendous climax, really, to a tremendous rally. Let's go back to 5 a.m. this morning. Temperatures well below freezing. The cars already battled through Kielder and the Scottish stages for the second time. We picked up in Carlisle with Sue Baker before they dived down into the Lake District.
Well, there's the first one away into the next few stages. How tough are those remaining stages?
Well, the two Grisdale stages are very, very hard. They're incredibly twisty. And the reports we've got from the organisers say that they're covered in snow and ice, so they're going to be very difficult. I'm glad I'm not battling for the lead at the moment.
Well, we wish in a way that you were further up the field, but we have got 4 Britons in the top 10. Do you think the chances are we'll have them at the finish?
I think so, yes. I think everyone's done tremendously well, and I think it's the beginning of the return of British drivers. I think once we all get into these four-wheel drive cars, you're going to see a lot of British drivers at the top.
How tough are these last few stages?
Oh yeah, this is not the real place to fight a rally out, really. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out of it.
Well, over the last few stages and the ones that have still to come, we're just taking it very quietly. We can't catch the people in front, so we're just trying to maintain our own position, keep the car in one piece.
The competitors are into Grisdale, a 17-mile-long stage full of twists, hills, and very, very slippery, as Kankkunen demonstrates. It was the infamous Kielder that cost Marco Allen 5 minutes and possibly the rally, though afterwards he was immediately fastest on the next 2 stages. Since stage 24, Per Eklund has carried the hopes of Audi in his privately entered car. He was second fastest through Rücken during the bitter cold night and third on 3 other stages. At the end of Grisdale, the very experienced McRae muttered, "That's bad in there, not at all for the faint-hearted." The popular Pond has won 3 stages during the night, Bewshall, Walk and Twigleys, but he's chosen the wrong tyres for this stage. Despite only 2-wheel drive, Terry Cabey's Nissan has performed well during the night, but his near-side front tyre is deflating. When one of the service crew made an unscheduled stop to see his girlfriend, it saved Matt Jonsson's rally, because he was able to replace a broken gearbox. But now he's second in Group A. Rod Millen is still going strong, still slipping around. But of this stage, he says, "That's fun, let's do it again." Russell Brooks, in his desperate attempt to catch McRae, started the night with a puncture, spun in Withup and finished Grisdale with another slow puncture. Glyn Jones had only 1 pair of spotlights on Kielder, but he survived. Not so here. A classic winter accident, but understandable in these vile conditions and against the clock. Now the spectators and marshals are proving invaluable in helping Glyn restart. Weber is worried by a puncture and the fact that Andrew Wood in the leading Group Astra is now only 30 seconds behind. Henry Toivonen lost front-wheel drive, replaced a supercharger compressor and a gearbox. He says, even though it's as slippy as hell, I'm enjoying it. He should be. He's leading the rally. The 1800cc Astra GTE of Brian Wiggins from Clacton-on-Sea and Tony Shepherd from Marlow Bottom. It's still decimating the opposition in the showroom class. Just one accident just before Carlisle, but running well. Louise Aitken-Walker driving on her own Cumbrian home ground. She didn't enjoy it though. Absolutely diabolical. I hated it, she said of Grisdale, and you can see why. The Toyota Corolla pairing of Aoki and Okanami get a tremendous reception for the spectators. Well, they did keep going, but one of his near misses, I fancy.
I'm very sorry to tell you this stage has had to be cancelled. It's been considered far too dangerous to run because of the very slippery conditions towards the end of the stage. It's a well over 100-mile-an-hour section towards the end, and it's considered far too dangerous to run. It's sheet ice, and the course car had an off, and the second course car also agreed that it's just far too dangerous to run.
A necessary closure, but obviously bitterly disappointing.
I can see the point. If it's too dangerous for the cars, the crews, it's safety reasons. It's upsetting for me. It's the first time I've been out, but there it is. It's one of those things. You've got to take it rough with the smooth.
Terribly disappointed. We've been here now 2 or 3 hours, getting colder and colder and colder. I'm sure we all feel much the same.
Well, we've come. It's the only stage we had the chance to see actually, because we've come about sort of 50 miles just to see this stage and marshal on it, and we have to go home because we're working. It's just midweek day off, and we'll miss it all now. By the time we get home, it'll be finished.
I got up at 12 o'clock yesterday morning and I worked 12 hours last night and then came straight out here this morning. So it's a bit disappointing when you come to that, but certainly you don't want anybody being injured through running it on a stage that is unsuitable.
Have you seen any of the rally at all?
Not now, no.
Into the final forest stage. What a magnificent rally Per Eklund has had. Currently 4th overall in a private Audi, and here demonstrating the control that he has shown throughout. This is the most slippery stage of all. Fastest in Lightwater Valley stage, Tony Pond is once more demonstrating his skills in a car which has truly arrived on the international scene in its debut World Championship rally. Marco Allen, fastest in 26 of the 65 stages, a record not sufficient to win a rally which everyone knows he desperately wanted to. When this rally is analysed, the performance of Kankkunen in the Toyota Celica, the leading two-wheel drive car, will be highly praised indeed. I have never nearly gone off so many times, Terry Gaby said halfway through. Well, he has very nearly made it. The Nissan 240 RS will be the third rear-wheel drive car if it survives this very tricky section. Jimmy McRae is now close to proving a point in being the leading Opel Manta 400, but with 2 Mantas on the leaderboard, Their reliability is once again proven. Rod Millen and Brian Rainbow have not only enjoyed the rally, they are in 9th place. They were 50 seconds up on Carlson, but spun twice here and nearly threw it all away. Russell Brooks will shrug off the incident that nearly took him out of the rally on stage 15. He has characteristically fought back from 20th to 8th. After feeling unwell at the start, Carlson has worked up to 10th, only 18 seconds behind Milan. Perhaps the rumoured new Mazda will be his next year. As well as leading the Coupe des Dames, Louise is the 3rd Group A car and 16th overall. There is little now between Toivonen and victory. Despite a penalty of 1 minute, he will be taking it slowly, slowly. First in 1980 and first again in 1985 in the debut of the Lancia Delta S4. Glyn Jones and Ryland James bear the evidence, but not much more, of the incident at Grisdale. Yet another Manta, and here it is in 19th place. Aoki and Okanami started 141st in this newly built Toyota Corolla. They are now running 29th and will finish where others failed to survive.
Well, we spent a fair bit of time over the past 5 days looking at some of the stars. Before we go over to some of the top cars crossing the finishing line here in Nottingham, let's talk about one or two of the also-rans, because, of course, 64 cars actually finished. Among them, I'm sure you'll be glad to hear, was Peter Goodwin, the Essex mechanic, in his rebuilt Lada taxi. All he lost, he says, was his 2nd gear, and he came 49th. Also, at 61st place was P.C. Burton. He was the man, you may remember, who broke both his throttle cable and his gear shift on day 1 and actually finished the stage with his co-driver sitting on the wing, operating the throttle manually. I'm sure they'll both dine out on that story for many days to come. OK, let's now go over to the finishing line in Nottingham with Sue Baker.
Certainly an eventful event.
Well done.
Rally leaders
A wonderful win for you. Oh, thank you. And for Lancia, how tough a win was it?
His win.
I mean, to win it's always tough, and you need a lot of luck. So
a 1-2.
I can't say in few words how tough this has been, but you know my adventure on this rally. Once on the roof and few spins and so on, so it's been quite tough, yes.
Did you expect that you were going to win in the closing stages? Were you still thinking you would?
Well, yes, of course, near the finish I was hoping to win it. But the tactic was so that I wanted to learn the car and try to finish this rally, and never thought about to win. Never.
It's been an extraordinary year for you. A broken vertebra earlier in the year, now a fantastic win.
A bit of British technology in there.
Well, I mean,
how do you
it
see
has to come someday.
Amazing result for.
And that's the sort of win that you obviously hope for.
But well, I mean, first time out with this car and to win it, that's a very nice feeling.
The stages through the night have been very slippery, haven't they?
Very, very slippery.
Can you describe what some of them were like?
Metro also
I mean,
having its debut
it's so difficult to tell, but
might have won. It nearly did.
I mean, they've been sleepy and dangerous, and it's been sort of
is pretty good, surely,
do or die thing.
For the Austin Rover.
For me, it worked.
Tony, a fantastic result. Everyone's absolutely thrilled for you. How tough a rally was it for you?
It was very tough, really. I mean, starting off with the flu and going on from there. But an enjoyable event, I suppose. You know.
Did you expect all the way through that you would get it to the finish? Were you concerned about the car?
I was never concerned about the car. I was concerned about myself, obviously. I mean, the conditions were so treacherous. One tiny mistake and it could have been all over. I mean, the other guys were all going off the road, but they had more luck than me. They know the forest, they missed the trees.
Were you hopeful at some stages that you might get to overtake them?
Well, we did. I mean, I was in front of Henry for a while. I was in front of Marcus for a while, and you know, we all thought it was going to work out well, and it didn't.
But were you under any particular team orders to nurse the car to the finish, come what may, to get it there to the final three?
No, we decided that we would play each stage as it came, and if we didn't like it, we would drive within ourselves. That was the only thing, which in a way was looking after the car and the crew, and that was it. When Malcolm disappeared, then it obviously put me under more pressure to make sure we had a reasonable result, but I never came under any orders.
It's a wonderful success for the Metro. What do you expect of this car in the future?
This car will be a World Championship contender. It will always be in the frame. It's what it was designed to do, and I'm very pleased.
Louise, congratulations.
Thank you.
Drive of your life, everyone's saying.
Oh, it's been good. This little car's done really well.
Well, I hear that some of the stages this morning were rather tough for you. You weren't enjoying Drysdale.
Oh, it was serious. It was just all ice, and you had to go up the bankings, and it was terrible.
Have you enjoyed this year's RAC though, because you've been giving some tremendous performances out there?
Yes, very much. I think we've had a good battle between Suzanne and myself, and it's nice to come out on top.
Is the Lombard RAC one of your favourite rallies? Because you certainly seem to enjoy these stages.
I think that when we go out to do national championships, it's like a whole national championship in 5 days, which makes it really hard, and I do like a tough game.
Do you have any problems with the stamina? Because it's a very tough endurance event, isn't it?
Well, obviously we've got to prepare ourselves, because this event's known to be a hard event, but this year it's not too bad.
Well, very many congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Brian, a really exciting result, and everyone's been watching your progress with fascination, because you started with 1:15 on the side, and here you are up in 21st place. Did you know you'd do as well?
No, not at all. You know, when we come to the rally, the RAC is a rally where you start, but you really don't know how you're going to get on, because you've got 5 days of very hard rallying in front of you, and being a Group N car, which is a showroom production car, you know, you just don't know how it's going to end up.
The little Astra seems to have done remarkably well for you in what have been very tough conditions.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. We haven't really put a spanner on the car. We had a little off halfway through the rally, which we had to change some front suspension, but other than that, we've had no problems at all.
What have some of those icy stages been for you in a car like this?
Dreadful, absolutely dreadful. This is the 7th year I've done the RAC, and it's the worst conditions I've ever encountered. Really, really slippery.
So after 5 days and nights of very tough motoring indeed, 2.5 minutes separated the first 3, about an hour separated the first 10, and 6.5 hours separated the entire field. So a measure perhaps of the true toughness of this event. Once again, an event dominated by those remarkable flying fins is obviously something very special indeed in the waters around Helsinki. But how marvellous for British rally enthusiasts to have Tony Pond up there at number 3. And talking of enthusiasts, the crowds have been immense this year. This rally, like any other Lombard RAC, is full of stories. Let me just end on one of them. Stage 54, as black as pitch, very icy indeed. Marco Alen skids off. Along comes Juha Kankkunen in 5th place. For 5 days, he's risked his neck, shaving seconds off his time. He stops and loses a minute or two, pushing the Lanciers back on. One Finn helping another, one rally driver helping another, perhaps, but certainly one hell of a marvellous gesture and pretty typical of rallying as a sport. That's really the end of Rally Report 85. It's been a tremendous rally to cover. Let me just remind you, we have a review programme going out on Saturday at 9:40 covering the entire rally. See you then. Until then, good night.